finally, the Buddha want to talk about the Lotus Sutra. So we say sometimes it's called the king of the sutras. All right, then maybe you ask, now, if this is the king of sutra, why should I be reading the others? Would you have this question? So if this is so good, so I can just jump in and read this, and then I could ignore the rest of them. Do you have this question? Or are you ever curious? You know, Americans, okay, I used to teach Americans. And then some of them, because you'll be surprised, I don't know if you have friends, Western friends or maybe Christian, they just don't know what they say. Okay, is this the Buddhist Bible? Right? They ask you this question, right? So this is the Buddhist Bible, or even they call Master, is he the Buddhist Pope? And then we said, what? It's just not the same, okay? And then they may ask, okay, there are a lot of numbers, right? So it's like the Four Noble Truths, the three Dharma Seals, okay, the 6 parameters, the Noble Eightfold Path. So it's a lot of numbers. And they say, why are there so many numbers in Buddhism? Well, it's a lot more complicated. And I would tell them, okay, you may have just one book. Oh, this is the Bible, okay? But I say, if you look at Buddhist teachings, I think the whole room, you have a whole library, and you may not even be able to contain all of the teachings, okay? Just the Buddhist canon alone can be shelves and shelves and shelves. But if you add more writings, you can have a whole building of books, and it's all Buddhism. So it's a little difficult for them to really comprehend, okay, to really appreciate. But again, okay, if you say, hey, since you're saying that this is the king of sutras, so I would just put everything away. I just give everything to Miao Hsi and say, you can keep it. I just have one Lotus Sutra. But actually, I think every person, you have your own uniqueness, okay? You have past conditions. You have your present conditions. And there are things that can mean more to you, that make it more relevant to your life, more relevant to your family conditions or your career, or even at different age, okay, at different age. And of course, different backgrounds, different cultures as well. I mean, Singapore is a place of many cultures. And I did not learn too well last 2 times because it was always so rushed. But this time, Venerable Miao told me, here we have Singapore harmony with the different religious groups and ethnicities. So this is unusual. This is very unique. So maybe your family is a little different background. Maybe different sutras connects with you. Different sutras can work for you. Certain teaching, okay, we have people telling us, since I started to recite the Amitabha's name, I'm so calm, okay? Or sometimes they will say, I really like the Medicine Buddha Sutra, because maybe they have to deal with some situations, the medical issues, so they are very connected with Medicine Buddha. So it doesn't mean that, since you talk about the king of sutras, this is it, okay, I want the best. Only the best for me, okay? So not necessarily. So this is something that I really like to share with you, is because it is a very good sutra, and if you read Chinese, it's very well translated. But if you don't read Chinese, don't worry, we have the English. All right? We have the English, and you can still understand, all right? Okay, so let's move on again. Okay, they would say, like I was saying, there were at least 6 Chinese versions, but only 3 are still in circulation. So it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. But when you really look at it, okay, what is most popular these days is the one version still in very popular circulation is the one translated by Kumarajiva. Actually, I should address him as a master, okay? He is one of the 4 best translators, okay? And, well, if I could have time to just tell him the story of his story, his whole life is a wonderful story, all right? He's been going through so many sufferings, okay? Of course, you can look at his name, he's not Chinese. He's not Chinese. But his Chinese is even better than, at least much better than mine. Okay, his Chinese is so good. Okay, his Chinese is so good. His style of translation or his style of writing is what we call liu chang. It's smooth. It's smooth. It's readable. It's reading. It's not word for word. It's not very literal. It's just something, it's just, well, I mentioned Kingai, okay? So one of the old sayings there, just 2 words, right away, oh. So because in one of the chapters it say, when your roots, your 6 roots, your 6 sense organs are so pure, just with your ears of this human ear, you can hear the celestial beings, so Kingai, or you can hear the heavens, they're speaking the Dharma. You can hear everything. So at first I don't really quite get what is those very difficult words. I said, what is this? And then somebody said, this is the equivalent to, because she bothered to look up, on the internet, and that means Kingai. So, and I think a very distinctive translation is that, say, one of the Pure Lands that the Buddha was making predictions about, it is so pure, it's so clear, the heavens and earth, they can see one another, okay? So, and it's so close, okay? But if you really want to describe it in a way that you can understand right away, Master Kumarjiva just used 4 words. 人天人 is humans, 天 heavens, 相接 it means that you're connected. 能都看到了, we can see one another. So his style is very beautiful and readable, okay? And of course his version, we are very happy and very fortunate that his version is still circulating and is still here, okay? And the standard of translation is extremely high. And so I'm always very, really, Stephen just mentioned that I'm his mentor. I say, oh, 惭愧, okay? Our standard, when you look at this, look at such masters, I mean, we're just like there, and they're right up there. So it is something that is, that we really would like to learn from and honor, okay? So but it's not easy at all, okay? So when you look at it, when you really open a sutra, or you just look at the Universal Gate chapter in Chinese or English, you can see the format is very special, okay? So for this sutra, it's being upheld, it's being practiced or analyzed, okay, by different schools. Huayan, okay, Huayan, of course, esoteric, okay, Mizhong, okay, and also Pure Land, even Jingtu, okay, they also would study this sutra. And of course, we know very well if you study the different schools of Buddhism, you study what they're using or focusing, okay, Tentai Zong or Tentai school, okay, they would consider, they establish the Lotus Sutra as what they call their fundamental. Okay, so this is what the whole school of teachings is based on, okay? And they say this is Tentai Zong, okay, the different features of how Tentai school is being practiced, they use the Lotus Sutra, okay? So this is not just, okay, because maybe most of us, either if you really study on your own, or maybe there may be special lectures on I think Fa Jing, I think there's a talk coming, right? So they would tell you the monastic, 哪一位法师啊？法经。哦，没，对，好像有人讲法经，对不对？是。永本法师啊，永本法师，对 ，yes, we have some. They are very, very learned. Okay, they're very learned, so they can talk in a bigger way. But here, I just give you a taste of it. If you can listen to Chinese, this is another good lecture that you should attend, and just at least have some more concepts and deeper understanding of Fa Jing or Lotus Sutra. So here, I'm sure that she would use Tentai. Okay, Tentai is how Tentai Zong would use Fa Jing. All right. So, and of course, it's not just in China. So a lot of people may think that, okay, because with Chinese Buddhism, okay, it must be Chinese Buddhism. It must be just the Chinese Buddhists, okay? But no, okay, it's also very influential. Actually, if you understand Japanese Buddhism, okay, some of the new practices, the new Buddhist sects, that they would honor Lotus Sutra as well. They would recognize the sutra, okay? So it's like Korea, Japan especially, more Mahayana, of course. This is a Mahayana Sutra. And it's held in very high regard. Like I was saying, when you have different English translation, different versions of the English translation, that means even people in the West, Westerners, would recognize the value of the Lotus Sutra, okay? So when you have time, I mean, maybe in our library, maybe, or even if you go, the Singapore library is exceptional, is excellent. So maybe even they may have, I'm not sure, but maybe they may have some collection as reference, okay? So actually, I kind of talked about it. So the wonderful Dharma Flower Sutra is established by reference to a Dharma and analogies. Okay, actually analogies are like what we call illustrations, maybe stories. So there are 7 major analogies. Okay, and every one of them, okay, every one of them, the Buddha would give us a small lesson. Like it's like they say, only the Buddha Dharma, or the burning house. You heard of the burning house? The house is on fire. The house is very, very dangerous. And we are like little children playing inside, okay, not knowing what's going on. So the Buddha wants to help us. Of course, the Buddha has the power, but he said, you know, I cannot just carry everyone out, okay? And the analogy is the father with all the kids. You have to recognize it is in the context of ancient Indian culture. So, you know, it's not unusual to have so many children. And so the analogy is we seem to be enjoying our lives here, but this is a burning house that we must get out. So this is a way to liberation. So there are different analogies. Or the Dharma is compared to the sweet rain. Singapore rains every day. And it clears up the air, okay? Back in California, where I came from, in Los Angeles, it's an epic drought. It's so dry that the California government would give a penalty if you use too much water. And they require you to cut back 25%, 30% because there's no rain. So I would say, oh, Singapore rains, so I can come and experience, you know, what raining is like. And this afternoon, I was in a car, and it was coming down, okay? So there's also an analogy on rain as well, that the Buddha taught that raining, so he said, when the rain is like the Dharma, when it rains on everything. So it doesn't matter which plant you're in. Oh, and I love the Singapore gardens, by the way. I was at the gardens by the bay, right? And also the botanical garden. And I said, wow, I mean, again, really totally awesome. Totally amazing. So it's like, you know, the garden, the botanical garden. It's all open. So you have all sorts of plants, right? So when it rains, so the big trees will take up their own water, their own source. The little blade, the little flower, they have their own. And then maybe some bushes, you also have your own. So this is the Dharma. So no matter, like I was saying, if you're saying, oh, okay, this is the Sutra King, I would just read this, I would just study this, and I just throw everything away, okay? But no, okay, it's according to your conditions, according to your life situation. Maybe, oh, I can take some of this here. Oh, the Lotus Sutra is something I can enjoy as well, or it's, you know, to kind of get deeper into the Dharma. Okay, so we should be growing. Okay, we should not be remaining as a small little plant. Okay, you can grow too. Okay, and I saw some really big, tall heritage trees yesterday, and some of the plants I was oh, wow, what is this? Okay, and I went with a fellow monastic, and she's the expert. She was telling us, okay, this is what tree, this is what flower, and we were so amazed. Okay. And this is what Singapore has. Okay, this is wonderful. All right, so one of the analogies. So it's like different stories. The Buddha taught, and it's all what? To tell us how to practice, or how we should be clear. What is the path? What's the means? What is the way to liberation? And there's only the Buddha way, the Buddha vehicle. Okay, so this is what it's all about. So of course, the wonderful Dharma is a Dharma, okay? It's a Dharma. And the lotus flower is its analogy. Because the wonderful Dharma is difficult to understand. So they use the lotus flower. So I've seen quite a few lotuses in the last 2 days. So I don't know if you ever grow any lotus yourself in your yard. And today I visited a Shuanglin temple, Shuanglin Si, and they have like a big pot. It's not a pond, it's a big pot. So they have, I'm sure, there are different lotus flowers, Sui Lian, whatever, you know. I'm not plant expert, you know, I was born and raised in Hong Kong, and you know how bad it is. So we don't really, we just see, oh wow, beautiful, but we don't know anything much besides that. So they grow in growing ponds, but you know why? I would explain to Americans, you know why? There's a very simple way. Why is the lotus flower such a big symbol in Buddhism? Because we say that if there's no mud, no dirt, there will be no lotus flower. And it's also like us. Okay, we live in this world of, well, the haze, right? So that's air pollution. We live in a world of violence. We live in a world of a lot of we may say, major defilements, pollutions, all the negative stuff. But then we look at ourselves, hey, you know, I'm a Buddhist. I learned the Dharma. I come to here. That's pretty good, okay? My life is normal. My life is good. I can still practice. I can still improve. So it's like the lotus flower. No matter where we come from, we can still be beautiful. We can still be fragrant. We can still be so pure, 纯, okay? We can still have a pure heart. No matter what, we can live in this world and we can still live a pure, right life, okay? So that's why I think that is the biggest symbolism behind the lotus flower. And I think there's a book out there saying, no mud, no lotus, right? So you cannot really, okay, I have to make it very clean. It's just clean water for the flower. It can grow. You need the mud. So there's a lotus root, the stem, right? So, and it is the only plant. It's very amazing. The only plant, at the same time, you have the root, the stem, the pot, the seeds, and the flower, and the leaves. That's the only plant almost that has everything at once. Everything, okay? So I remember when I was here in 2005, I think we were staying at a hotel, and I think in one of the rooms or maybe outside, you know, in the hallway, they have this flower arrangement. And that was the first time I see they use flower, the lotus flower pot with all the seeds inside as part of the flower arrangement. I said, wow, this is beautiful, okay? So every time I would admire it every day. And because this is really unique, okay? Because no other, and then if you look at the lotus, the whole flower itself, it can be used in so many ways. The lotus root food, right? The stem, it's like a pipe, okay? It's empty. And when you talk about empty, it's emptiness. It's also one of the key concepts of Buddhism. So you can say, oh, okay, this lotus flower is really unique. Okay, it's empty. The root is empty. And then you have the pot of the seed. The seed is another food, okay, different from the root. It's another food. The flower is beautiful, and the leaves. And I remember when I was young in Hong Kong, my father kind of know a little bit about Chinese medicine and herbs. And the lotus leaves, or even the pod, is an excellent for heat stroke, 中暑. So if you kind of get a little lotus leaf, don't take my word because I don't know. don't go home, cut the leaf and say, hey, okay, drink it, okay. But it takes more than that. But it's a key ingredient. I think it's a key ingredient in Chinese herbs that say it could cure heat stroke. So it is a wonderful flower. So it's like the Dharma. It can serve in different ways, different means, and apply to every one of us in different ways. How we can connect. Sometimes, oh, I love lotus root, okay, you can have the roots. Oh, I like lotus seeds, okay, you can have the seeds. Or you say, oh, even the leaves, I was saying that there's one kind of leaf, of course, there's the different kinds of lotus. It's like as big as a table. You can even put a baby or a young child on it, and it's okay. Okay, so how wonderful is this? Okay, so this is why the Dharma is wonderful. The Dharma is deep, and people may find it difficult to understand, but say, hey, this is like the lotus flower. This is how wonderful it is. All right? Okay, so you say because it's rare. Okay, so why is it wonderful? Because even though it's very profound, very fast, it's not easy to understand. However, it's rare. So like for our when we have like a chanting, right, a service, we have Kai Jing Ji. When you open up a sutra, so we say we have a gatha. So 无上神圣微妙法. So it's like, oh, the supreme and profound, wonderful Dharma. Okay, and it's so rare. 百千万劫难遭遇. So it's like in Kelpers, it's hard to come across it, come to see it or read it. Now, okay, 我今听闻, okay, now that I hear it, I can 受持, 得受持. Now I can uphold it, I can practice it, right? So you can see, so we are so grateful. We are so grateful that when we hear the Dharma, it's because it's so unique, it's so difficult, but we still have a chance, okay? And we often talked about how Master would give a talk, and I say the most wonderful thing is all of this, okay, Master would never spend 90 days just explaining Miao. It would not happen in today's world, okay? Nobody would, I doubt very much, okay, by the end of the 89th day, who will be still here? You cannot mention the 90th day. So he would just let you know, okay, so what is sanhao? You know, it seems that, oh, sanhao, oh, okay, we good deeds, speak good words, and think good thoughts or whatever. You know what is that actually? It's the 3 karmas. But if Master said, okay, you must have 3 karmas, you must have 3 good karmas. I said, what? What are the 3 good karmas? But no, it's just 3 acts of goodness, sanhao, or sometimes they could even call it the 3 goodness. What is sanhao? Oh, then it really relates to you, right? So that's why we say, no matter how profound, no matter how deep, because remember, it's what the Buddha lived about 2,600 years ago in ancient India, okay? So where are we now? We're in Singapore, the 21st century. Okay, this is the high-tech city. Okay, this is the major center, okay, and a world-class city. And then you talk about, okay, you better do this because 2,600 years ago, Buddha said that. Then you say, why? You know, I live here now, and back then, you know, the life is so different. So this is how humanistic Buddhism works for everyone. So sanhao, okay, sanhao is what. Oh, okay. So I can always help people. I can do good deeds. Of course, when I talk, I try not to swear. I try not to be angry. I try to speak kind words. Okay. And what is the bottom line? You must have good thoughts, because without positive good thoughts, you won't be able to do good things. You won't have the base to do all of these good things. So san kou yi. Okay. So san is like physical action. So that's why we have to do good things. And mouth is our speech, right? So this is how Master would kind of make it relevant for us. So that's why, you know, he would not talk in terms that, I think it was a joke back then that when Master Hsing Yun first went to Taiwan and started teaching, and the very common story is a lot of people will go to certain Dharma talks. Is it good? Oh yeah, very good. So what is it about? I don't know. I don't understand. Actually, you know, sometimes if they're honest, they will confess, actually, I don't understand. But then they feel that it was very good because it's so difficult. People will have this misconception that when it's something that's so difficult that I don't understand, it must be good. But is it relevant? Then it's not relevant. Okay, you go in, it's like you go to college, right? And of course, nowadays, you're only allowed to take classes that you registered in. Or maybe, okay, I'll take an audition, I'll just auditing, I'll just go in and just listen. But would it help you really? Because you don't get credit for it. It may be just, oh, you have too much time to kill, okay? You have too much time on your hands. So, oh, okay, I'll just go in and sit in and listen. But it may not help you, okay? But no, Buddhism is for life. Buddhism is for living. Buddhism is to help us live happily, is help us to help ourselves, and on top of that, help others. Okay, if you just help myself, I remember reading something is that if you are the only rich person in the community and you're surrounded by all poor beggars, would you be happy? No. You may be scared, I think, right? Be very scared. So what's going on, right? You may be you think, oh, they're going to rob me. They're going to what? Okay. So if the community you live in, so